what is the difference between how the body metabolizes animal protein versus plant protein? Or is it like the saturated fat and cholesterol that generally is conjoined with the intake of animal protein?
Well, animal protein is harmful, and plant-based protein is not only not harmful, it's actually protective. There are literally hundreds of thousands of substances in fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes and soy products that have anti-cancer, anti-heart disease, and anti-aging properties. Things like phytochemicals, bioflavonoids, carotenoids, retinols, isoflavones, genistein, lycopene. There's a whole alphabet soup of these things. And where do you find them? With few exceptions, you find them in plant-based foods. The animal-based foods, besides being high in saturated fat and dietary, you only get dietary cholesterol in animal products, is the animal protein itself is inflammatory. And in our new book, part of what this kind of unifying theory that we're putting together for the first time is, why is it that these same lifestyle changes are so powerful? The more diseases we study, the more underlying mechanisms we look at, the more reasons we have to explain why these changes are so powerful. And it's because although we tend to think of heart disease as being different than diabetes, different than prostate cancer, and different than Alzheimer's disease and so on, the radical idea here is this unifying theory is that they're not. They're different expressions of the same underlying disorders. The mechanisms like chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, overstimulation of the sympathetic nervous system, changes in the microbiome, changes in, as we've been talking about, in gene expression and telomeres and angiogenesis. And each of these mechanisms, in turn, is affected by what we eat, how we respond to stress, how much exercise we get, and how much love and support we have. And so, seen in this larger context, the animal protein activates all of these different mechanisms in negative ways, which is what makes it harmful, independent of the fact that it's also high in saturated fat, dietary cholesterol, and other things like that. You know, it's like people say, "Oh, I'm not going to get enough protein on a plant-based diet." Then you say, "Well, ask Mr. Elephant." You know, ask Rich Roll. I mean, you're a living example of what can be done on a plant-based diet. I mean, most guys would be happy to do half of what you can do.